Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening at the Creekside. Today we are back in the signature garden, but in a little different spot of the signature garden. We are going to be planting trees. Yes, my friends, we are going to be planting several different types of trees here on the new section of the signature garden, the less formal section, of course. Behind me, we have the formal part of the signature garden, but all the way around, this is still part of that signature garden that we have here at Creekside Nursery in Dallas, North Carolina, a Zone 8A. And we are having some fun putting in the bones of this new area that we're going to be creating over the next couple of years. So let me give you a big perspective. Let's talk about the trees that we're going to be putting in. I hear Jerry coming. He is coming with the tractor and has the tiller on it, because we're going to kind of try to define those edges of where the bed is versus the grass. So again, give you some perspective. We're going to be focused here on the hill. This is the hill that Jackson cleared out for us end of winter, and that is where we're going to be focusing on today. Give you perspective of kind of where that is located. Of course, you can see the barn and the greenhouses. We are on the far back side of where the formal part of the signature garden is. And so what we're doing is we are adding layers to the garden. One of the most informative, inspirational books that I have read on gardening is called The Layered Garden by David Culp. I'll put a link or the description, in the video description. But this is where he talks about adding layers to the garden, right? Visually, textures, all these things to make your garden just full and rich to the eye, and just to fill in those spaces. So of course we are blessed with a massive mature forest essentially right here. So this is going to be considered a part shade garden where we are putting these trees. And so we have kind of cleared out, quote, the junk, and have left these nice big mature, these are all going to be hardwood deciduous trees. Don't have any pines right here in this area. And you can see Jerry's coming in with the tractor. So we have this little access road that kind of cuts the hill in half. This road has a lot of history to it. We'll get into that later. But so this little road really defines kind of the beds that we're going to be working on. So this year what we're working on is the garden below that road. Maybe we'll tackle the big hill later, but for now, we're just focusing on the lower part. So Jerry's bringing in with the tractor, of course has the tiller attached to it, and then he has got some of the black gold, that ultra outdoor planting mix. So we will add that to the areas that we're going to be planting, specifically just on those tree areas. We're going to be really focused trying to amend the whole bed at this point. And I think he's trying his best to stay off the grass. So he's trying to maneuver his way around there. As soon as he gets past, we'll go talk about the trees. Okay, so let's talk about the trees that we're going to be adding. First, here we're going to be adding 2 different types of Kusa dogwoods and 2 different types of Japanese maples. So here, where Jerry just threw a bag, the tree here, and then the tree that's right over here, these are let me get my tag, Kusa dogwood, and this is the Scarlet Fire Kusa dogwood. Now, Kusas are great because they're going to be later to bloom than your traditional dogwoods. This is going to be, has brilliant dark pink to fuchsia blooms in late spring, disease and pest resistant, full sun to part shade, hardy in zones 5 to 8, and then look at that bloom on that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is just a beautiful, she's starting to put on some little buds right here, right? You can see some little flowers. And Kusas are great because they bring such interest to your garden. Of course, we love them because they're later to bloom. So you're gonna have those beautiful flowers. You don't have to really worry about like a frost or a freeze getting them. So they come in, like you can have pink, you can have white. We will get gorgeous color on the leaves. in the fall. Beautiful fall foliage color on them. And then once the flowers are done, you can see kind of inside that bloom, right here on the inside, that little, those are gonna turn into red berries. Kind of look like little raspberries, strawberries, and so you get a fun interest on this. Now, kusas can grow to be in that 10 to 20 kind of tall and wide range, and we'll put all the specs for the Scarlet Flame for each tree on here because honestly, all those, I just can't remember all those numbers in my brain right now. So we've got 2 of those right here. And then between those, we have got the Emperor One Japanese maple. Now, Emperor Ones are great. They're gonna be more upright, super nice, beautiful, dark foliage on it, right? Just gorgeous. These can tolerate and can take full sun. We have one in our backyard that is in full all-day sun, and she is doing great. Can also do this partial sun. Of course, this is not going to be on irrigation, so it is going to get some nice, really good morning sun, that 5 to 6 hours of the morning sun. But because the sun sets behind this hill, all of this will go into afternoon shade, which will really help these trees not burn. So this is that other of that scarlet kusa, and then we have 3 just regular, quote, regular traditional kusa dogwoods. So there's 1, 2, and then 3 where Jerry is. These are going to have beautiful white flowers on them. Don't see any flowers on these guys yet, but these will all be white blooms on them. So adding in those here. Last but not least, we have a Tamukiyama. This is a very old, very traditional, very well-known Japanese maple. Now, you look at her, and she is not really in her prime. She is one of the last ones we've had at the nursery, but she is healthy. She'll be fine. She just needs a little love. So it's perfect for us to add it to the garden. But you can see that it has completely different leaf texture than the Emperor One. This is going to give us a beautiful fall color. It will turn a bright, screaming red. Beautiful color on it. Of course, in the spring, you get that burgundy look to it. And then, like I said, in the fall, it is screaming red. Now, this, again, has, like I said, is a very old cultivar of a Japanese maple. I was reading on MrMaple.com that this has been propagated for over 300 years. So she has stood the test of time for sure. This is going to have a nice weeping habit, an umbrella habit to it. 6 to 8 tall, 10 to 12 wide, I want to say. So completely different structure than the other ones, and have that nice big weeping habit on it. Again, it will get enough sun. I think it's this hardy zone is like 5 to 9, 5 to 8, I guess, depending on who you talk to. But it will get the sun, and if it doesn't get enough sun, we're underneath a beech tree. We can always limb up some of these limbs, and so that way it gets more morning sun. We'll know that based off of the foliage on the plant. So if it just turns like green and stays green, then it needs some more sun. So we can easily limb up some of these tree limbs, which we'll have to do that periodically every couple of years, just in general, because we want these guys to kind of shine. So adding in those layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to work smarter, not harder. Jackson just brought in the bed edger. Jerry is going to go ahead and define the bed a little bit more. So if you can see where the weeds are right in here, we're going to make that part of the flower bed. So he's going to get the tractor with the tiller, till this up. I'm going to come in through, pick up some of these limbs. And then as long as the bed edger works, he's going to run the bed edger to get that nice defined edge on here. Then we can use the Bobcat with the auger. We're working smarter, not harder today, using the equipment that we have available to us, getting these. I'll keep you updated as we go. But this is the project of the day, is to get these trees in the ground here at the Signature Garden. my friends. So we have got the project wrapped up today. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple. The machinery certainly helps a ton doing this, working smarter, not harder. Of course, fully recognize that most people don't have bobcats hanging around, their house. So the best way to do this, right? Good old shovel. All of the dogwoods were 7 gallons, so that would be very easy to do. Also, of course, if you have that power planter auger, that Jenny's Edition, that 9-inch would be fantastic for doing this because you can easily do a 7-gallon, a 15-gallon using that 9-inch auger. Definitely want to do that Jenny's Edition because it's that heavy duty. And let me tell you, this space certainly needs the heavy duty because it just naturally has a lot of rocks in it. And then of course the roots, right? This area is historically very, very rocky. And I'm not talking about, yes, there's like little pebbles in here, but there's also like good size rocks. And so that would be like a kind of a small, we've got a whole section of them where we were kind of collecting them over there. We'll use them for something. But using that 9-inch power planter auger, the Jenny's Edition, would be a huge time saver, back saver, all the things. But yes, so all of the trees are in. On some of them we had, because Jerry brought that black gold. So what we did is, like with this Kusa, there was really no rhyme or reason why we did that, but dug the hole, right, with the bobcat, put that biotone in there a good bit, right, especially on those 15 gallons, which were the 2 Japanese maples, and then mixed in a bag of the black gold with the native soil, and then went ahead and filled in the hole. But everybody got a top dressing of a full bag of the black gold. So you can see that. This is the reason why I love that Ultra Outdoor planting mix from Black Gold, because it is great retention, moisture retention, not on irrigation here. We are kind of teasing the cusp of planting trees because of course we are in North Carolina. It's hot, it's humid. And so ideally, the time to plant the trees would be in the fall. So for us, that would be October, November, December, right? So we're going into the heat of this summer. So we're going to really have to pay attention as far as watering on these guys and make sure they have plenty of water. Because that is the key. Really, your first year, if you can keep them alive and keep them happy that first year, then you should be golden. After that, not that much of a big deal. So putting that black gold on top is really going to kind of help seal in that moisture. We are supposed to get rain like tomorrow. Of course, we made sure that all the trees were nice and watered before we put them in the ground. And so this is just going to be a gorgeous section here. We are going to come back. Jerry talked about doing it today. We'll see if it actually happens today. I'm kind of ready to move on to a different project, let's truth be told. But everything is going to get mulched in here. So that is another layer of retaining your moisture, keeping the weeds at bay, of course, obviously keeping the erosion at bay. And so when you put that nice layer of mulch in here, it makes a tremendous difference. So you can see, let's see, it's probably about 12:30 and everybody is pretty much already in the shade because of these big, beautiful trees. And yeah, we're just gonna have some fun with it. I don't think we're gonna do any more plantings of trees and shrubs really like this season because maintaining this is gonna be plenty for us to do. So we're gonna do that. And then of course, we've got to maintain and keep under control the quote bad, I use that term loosely, the unwanted plants in here. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about grapevine. We have got grapevine climbing up in the trees. The honeysuckle, which we don't have too much of honeysuckle in here, the briars, and then the poison ivy, because of course we already found the poison ivy in here and we stay away from that big time. So we've got some poison ivy coming up at the base of this tree. We don't want to mess with that. So just trying to keep everything kind of neat and tidy and cleaned up in here, so that way when we come in the fall to really put in those shrubs, perennials, then that way everything will be prepped and we can be good to go on that. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So it feels great to have these guys in the ground. They're going to be gorgeous. It already makes a huge difference. And then having that mulch come down on top of it, oh, it is going to be glorious. I do think we're going to do a little project here in this front section right here. If you are going to be around on this Saturday, I want you to come out to the nursery at 10 o'clock. We're going to have a free Power Planter workshop with Greg Newald, the owner of Power Planter. He is flying in from Illinois to do the workshop for us. And you're going to be here in this space, like right here. We're going to have the area prepped for you. He's going to do his workshop here, and we're going to have it prepped and plants out, some annuals out, and then we're going to let you try out those augers and plant some plants. I'm going to put you to work. Yes, I am. I'm absolutely going to do that. So the workshop is free. Just make sure if you come for the workshop, let's just wear closed-toed shoes. Think about safety. Not that you have to, but I'm just saying, especially if you want to be drilling and testing out the augers, make sure you wear some closed-toed shoes. Yeah, and then we're going to have lots of fun. We're going to have a food truck is going to be here. It's going to be a great time. So come see us. The food truck will be here all morning he's serving breakfast and then lunch. So he'll be here all day. The workshop is at 10. Basically, it'll probably 45 minutes or so. Very, very relaxed, very no chill, and so, or low chill, high chill. No stress is what I'm trying to say. It's lunchtime. My brain's not working. So that starts at 10. Come on out. If you have questions, you want to put hands on demonstration, this is the time to do it. Greg's an absolute hoot. We love it. So y'all come see us this Saturday, 10 o'clock for the workshop. Otherwise, we'll be open course normal 9 to 3. Yes, it's time for me to sign off. Y'all have a great day. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye, my friends.